when you see this logo, everyone directly knows it's an Alfa Romeo. This is a very good advantage, for example, on the motorway when you look in the back mirror and then, people usually make way for you. And this is the all-new Alfa Romeo Tonale. It's their first small SUV here with Thomas on Autogefühl. Everything you need to know on exterior, interior and the technology, because it's also the very first plug-in hybrid model. Misano Blue is the exterior color, also would be my favorite one. And you can see here a lot of interesting design details. For example, the headlamps here with the daytime running light, 1, 2, 3. And these are also the optional matrix LED. They are standard for the Veloce version. And this Veloce version is the sporty version, always in the lower part, stronger styling right here. And also that front grille frame has the matte black appearance. Usually it would be rather bright. So in this case then you have the sportiest look. What's also cool is that when you activate the turning indicators, they basically run cascading through from left to right. Oh, we found an Easter egg. This quiadrifolio small leaf. But will there be a quiadrifolio version at some point? Who knows? Oh, and have you seen this nice detail here, the Italy flag in the side mirrors? And yeah, indeed, it is being built in Italy also, in Pomigliano, that's near Naples. The length at 4.53 meters or 178 inches, so that's a compact dimension. But styling-wise, I mean, both from the front, also from the side, really stunning. What's your take on that? Here the Veloce version with the black badge and also with more black contrast, for example, also here at the side mirrors, and also the frames here around the windows are in black. The Veloce also always comes with bigger wheels, so usually the wheels would start 18-inch, Veloce 19-inch, or here the optional 20-inch wheels with this typical, very bespoke styling by Alfa Romeo. We've seen it all through the years here with this 5-hole design that looks really amazing, with the red brake calipers also in this case. 235mm tires then in this case for the front. The Veloce also comes with an adaptive suspension, and then you can pick the driving modes and it adapts and it's a little stiffer or a little bit softer. However, even the base suspension has hydraulic cushions, so it's also somewhat adapting to the road surface, even then for the base models. That's of course a pretty cool thing to have. And towards the rear, what's really interesting, you can see here this kind of coupe shape, and when you open the door here, you can see that opens alongside. So yeah, just a very interesting detail. On the right side, you will have the petrol, at least for the left-hand drive cars. On the other side, then the plug-in hybrid, when it's a plug-in model. Here, very strong hips as well, and a very, very round rear. So if you come around, you see the lights are already beginning right here. And once again, you have almost a similar structure as in the front with this, 1, 2, 3 bows. But then the light goes all around the rear right here. So people have been buying Alfa Romeos for decades for the design, and once again, they really nailed it design-wise. Other than that, overall, also in the rear, pretty clean, contrasting black lower area. And this then, is this a case for the Autogefühl fake exhaust police? What do you think? And the rear turning indicator, well, that's not as spectacular as in the front. This is the car key, also with a nice styling. Then there will be keyless entry here when you press this button, and door closing sound. Actually quite solid. However, here from the inside of the doors then, let's take a look at that. This one it's not entirely hardback, but let's say somewhat hardback, just, a little bit soft just, but it should be softer, I think. Here, however, for your elbow, that's better than. Build quality-wise, here from these buttons, let's say it's okay. It's not the most premium haptic feeling as for this. However, the inside handle is actually quite cool. However, more highlights to come, because this is also the Veloce version, also on the inside. That means we have even more features, for example, Alcantara or microfiber here, already at the dashboard with red contrast stitches right there. And then, also from Alfa Romeo or Maserati here, the huge shifting pedals behind the steering wheel. Also very sporty style for the steering wheel. Real button steering wheel. This is start-stop button. And the design here also, with this lower area is actually quite decent. And also sport seats fitting to the Veloce version. Usually would get also fabric seats or fabric leatherette mix. And here this is then the microfiber leatherette mix. Look at that, also with a red background then, and kind of perforate for even more breathable functionality. And the outside then leatherette. And As my info goes, this interior then does not have animal skin, also not on the steering wheel. That's my info so far. So also a good direction Alfa Romeo is taking here, making some animal leather alternatives. And it really looks stunning. And also here there's a sportier form also in the upper part. But how comfortable is it actually? You know, we know Alfa Romeo with the Stelvio, with the bigger SUV. This one then the smaller brother. So let's see. Let's put the seat in the lowest area, lowest position, 1.86 m or 6'1", and the headroom actually is, yeah, still quite okay. So it also works for tall adults, makes a good and comfortable position so far. At the same time, you have a little bit more support than here in the shoulder area. Steering wheel up and down, in and out. So far I wouldn't say a very good first impression. Interior overview, what do you see? Well, first of all, this backlit here is, you know, this area. We can also change it here from the ambient color. Look at that, more green, this is more white. With this yellow and the red. And the microfiber dash here for the Veloce version. Again, the huge shifting pedals and buttons on the steering wheel for volume control, for example, left side for cruise control. Quality-wise, however, they do not make the best impression, so they could have paid a little bit more detail attention to that. However, what is more likable is here, for example, this vent area. This feels good, and yes, not all of hashtag capacitive PS, as we know from a lot of manufacturers. Meanwhile, here still climate control to really be able to control that with hard buttons. Lower to that is 12-volt power supply, also with this illumination. USB-A and USB-C charger, you have both, and also inductive charging pad. And this is here actually quite well accessible. This is drive mode selector. If you have the adaptive suspension in the Veloce, also the suspension stiffness changes. But here from the steering wheel, you can easily access it and then go to the sports mode, for example. Then we have this classic shifting lever. Also a volume jog here. This is actually good quality. And another Italy flag right here on the interior. Then cup holders are somewhat adaptive with these, you know, rubber pads right there. Then you have this nice leatherette cover for the armrest. Yeah, I'm not, you know, that a fan of this attachment here. However, there's some space underneath. Detail to the screen here. Optional, you can also get a TomTom GPS done here. And it's not too bad. You see here, it's, you know, not the most unresponsive one, and the detailing of the map also looks quite fancy. Let's see how fast it goes when we, for example, here now enter Frankfurt as an address. See how fast it goes. Yeah, that looks actually quite okay. That, you know, most of the time now people use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but you can see here the car internal map would also work if you want to save some data usage on your smartphone, depending on how your contract is in your country, for example. And of course, talking about Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, here we go. It also works wirelessly, so that's possible. And you have two different sound systems. This here is the bass sound system. This bass, also a classic, of course, this song. It's also okay. Not the most fancy one, not too bad, already gives you 6 speakers. However, you can also get a 14-speaker Harman Kardon system. Ooh, what a view. But this is actually in the digital instrument. At the moment, we cannot change here so much because it's one of the very first vehicles. But yeah, so this welcoming screen already looks quite impressive. Of course, usually you would see then this speed here and so on. Let's come closer to the rear. First of all, we also have the nice microfiber styling for the rear seats with the red background. Really haven't seen that idea yet, so yeah, it's a pretty fancy, cool idea, definitely. And it's very comfortable here in the rear as well. Remember, it's not the longest vehicle, but headroom-wise, it's also okay with 1.86, 6'1", and also legroom-wise works. This is the seat as I would be driving. And also nice that we have microfiber background also at the back part of the seats. Then we have USB-A and USB-C charger here in the lower area for the rear passengers and somewhat of a middle tunnel there. But indeed, you can drive this vehicle with 5 tall adults. that's actually no problem. And the seating comfort is also decent for the rear. Next to here, some cup holders. They are somewhat adaptive as well. And then you'll also be able to have a ski hatch here. Yeah, you know that Tonale comes from this Alpine pass. Now let's take a look at the trunk right here. Electric hatch, and the normal length is about 80 centimeters or 31 inches. And then, yeah, with the width here, you only get about 90 centimeters or 35 inches. And that's the toll of the great design on the exterior indeed. Height, you can see the backpack does fit in like this, normal vertical way. And I already folded one of the parts here, 2/3, 1/3 split, or also the ski hatch is possible. And to the front seats here, we come to about 1.60 m or 62 inches. What do you have under the hood? All 4 cylinders, 1.6 liter diesel, or this one here, 1.5 liter mild hybrid engine with 130 or 160 horsepower in this spec here. Or then you also get a new 1.3 liter plug-in hybrid, also a 4-cylinder. This one, then the most powerful one, 275 horsepower and 6.2 seconds in the acceleration figure. And well, one thing we have to swallow, it is front wheel bias. So either you have pure front wheel drive, or when you have the plug-in hybrid, you have an electric motor at the rear. Well, and then you can get rear wheel drive only when you just drive in the pure electric mode. Yeah, that's the thing. So for Alfa fans, of course, you would always prefer a rear wheel drive model. This one here shared with the Jeep Compass, this whole platform, but they did some special things to optimize it for the, for the chassis and so on. And also the plug-in hybrid upgraded with the 15 kilowatt hour battery. We probably see somewhat, 50, 60 kilometers of pure electric range, so like 25, 30 miles. Of course, soon more to all these engines when we're able to drive this one. We all know that Alfa used to be mainly about this, emozioni and sportivo. Now they bring in a new word, and it's metamorphosis. So the metamorphosis, so kind of like changing of the whole thing. Emozioni, emotion is supposed to stay, definitely. But here with this electrification, things are changing. First plug-in hybrid model, and Alfa, just in a couple of years, will soon go all electric. This is basically like the first, step in between for that. Would like to know your opinion about that, about Alfa going all electric, and also what you think about the first new plug-in hybrid model. Competitor model would be a BMW X1, for example, or if you're also interested here in more Alfa Romeo, we also have the Stelvio review for you.